She was always in motion, hips swaying, eyes alive with ambition. But in those early days, she was rarely in the spotlight. Instead, she was part of a blur of dancers behind bigger names, moving to someone else's rhythm. Every night under the hot glare of the stage lights, she dreamed that one day, she'd be the one center stage.
Twist, twist, twist of fate radio.
She didn't have a famous last name or powerful connections. What she did have was drive, an endless electric determination that burned brighter than any spotlight she'd ever stand under. Born in the Bronx to a Puerto Rican family, her childhood was full of rhythm and grit. The neighborhood was tough, but the local block parties pulsed with salsa, merengue, and hip-hop, a blend of culture that shaped her heartbeat. Her parents worked hard, instilling in her the belief that discipline could make dreams real. By her late teens, she'd decided what she wanted. Not to be a star exactly, just to dance. That was her first love. She began auditioning for television shows, music videos, anything that would get her foot in the door. Sometimes she made it. Most times she didn't. But when she did, it was enough to keep her going. Then came a small break, a gig as a backup dancer on tour with one of pop's biggest names. She found herself performing behind artists like Janet Jackson, watching from just a few feet away as thousands of fans screamed for someone else. She studied everything, how the headliners moved, how they connected, how they commanded the stage. And quietly, she began to imagine what it would feel like to be the one holding the microphone instead of the backup position. It wasn't easy. Between tours, she took acting classes, starred in low-budget projects, and sometimes slept in the studio after long rehearsals. She refused to let fatigue, rejection, or self-doubt silence her rhythm. She wasn't just dancing for the applause. She was dancing toward destiny. There were days when the pay barely covered her rent, nights when she wondered if anyone would ever see beyond the backup line. But every closed door became fuel. Every no made her train harder, move sharper, dream louder. She told herself that even if no one was watching, she'd keep showing up, because one day someone would. And then came her moment of fate. One night during a music video shoot, a producer noticed her. Not just her moves, but her presence. There was something magnetic about the way she carried herself, even when the choreography called for her to fade into the background. He approached her afterward, struck by the undeniable it factor. He said, "You've got more than talent. You've got star power." A few conversations later, she was offered something she'd never expected, a solo record deal. At first, she hesitated. She wasn't a trained singer, and she'd spent her whole career being the dancer. But she took a leap of faith, and when her first album dropped, it wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon. Her debut single shot up the charts. The videos went viral before viral was even a thing, and soon the world was chanting her name. From television and music to film and fashion, she didn't just break into the spotlight. She built an empire around it. Every beat, every lyric, every film role became a reflection of her relentless work ethic and belief that no dream is too far out of reach for a girl from the Bronx. She went from backup dancer to global icon, one of the most influential entertainers in the world, with awards, world tours, and even her own brand that redefined what it means to be a triple threat. All because one producer looked a little closer. And she dared to step into the light. That young dancer, do you know it yet? Was Jennifer Lopez. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.